Hello and welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is TOOFASTFOYO. I'm going to be uploading this to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter up there. There's my YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch link. So if people need to find me, that's how you can find me. And watching this live is going to be a lot different than watching it on YouTube, because on YouTube I'm pretty much going to cut out everything that's not, a very organized idea, and I'm going to try and consolidate it into maybe like a 10 or 12 minute video. But when you're watching it live, it's probably going to be more like 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes. Now, for this game, there was a lot of really good things for the Lions, but there was a lot of things, especially on defense, that weren't that impressive. There were a lot of times when Miami was able to pretty much throw the ball downfield. Brock Osweiler didn't play that bad, and that wasn't that surprising because he pretty much shredded the Chicago Bears defense last week. And he did pretty good this week, even though, he was without one of his best receivers. Kenny Stills got hurt, I think, before halftime. And they also played most of this game without Andre Roberts when I think he hurt his foot or something when he got tackled. He was basically just running a crossing route and got tackled and rolled up on his ankle or something, and he was out the rest of the game. And he's a pretty important player because going into this game, I believe they only had 4 receivers that were healthy. And they arguably lost their top 2 receivers during this game. And I think Kenny Stills is a very good receiver. I mean, if you asked me, Kenny Stills is probably, if he was on the Lions, he would be the second best receiver outside of Golden Tate. That's how good Kenny Stills is. He's a very fast receiver who can take the top off the defense, and he can make a lot of those tough catches as well, and he's a good route runner. So Kenny Stills was a huge blow for the Dolphins this game. So, to look at how our defense was still struggling to stop the pass this game more than we had in weeks past was pretty concerning. And we played most of this game with Darius Slay, and I know he missed some time there in the fourth quarter, but I think if the game was closer, he probably would have went back into the game because we were struggling quite a bit. And that's something that I talked about on my YouTube channel, I think maybe right after the draft or maybe before the draft. Is about the cornerback depth on this team. It's not really great outside of Darius Slay. And that was on display this game. When they put Kerryon Drake on the outside, they put their running back on the outside versus Nevin Lawson, who's our second best corner. Nevin Lawson pretty much mistimed his jump, and if that pass was on target, that would have been a touchdown. Kerryon Drake would have scored a pretty easy touchdown if that pass was completed. Nevin Lawson has done that a lot throughout his career this year as well. He has not been very good in one-on-one situations, and that's why the Dolphins put their running back out there and they took a shot versus Nevin Lawson. And also on those crossing routes, a lot of times it was Tease Tabor or Glover Quinn covering those crossing routes, and they were able to get those. So that's definitely something that the Lions are going to have to definitely try to do better, is cover those crossing routes, especially when they're in that man coverage look, or that kind of cover 2 man. Pretty much got to do a better job covering those crossing routes, because teams will look at that on tape and see that we can't stop it. And if the Dolphins had maybe one more good receiver, if Kenny Stills didn't get hurt, this game might have gone a lot differently. So I don't think it's that simple to just say, oh, the Lions won by 11 points and we shouldn't have to worry going forward. No, this game was actually a lot closer on paper, and if you were watching the entire game, the Lions couldn't really stop them on defense at certain times, and that was pretty bad at times. So definitely need to do a better job there. And yeah, another good thing to look at was stopping the run. The Lions did a very good job. I know they allowed the one big play to Kerryon Drake. That was a very good block they had by their tight end there, Nick O'Leary. Yeah, Kerryon Drake pretty much went up the left sideline. Darius Slay missed him, and he scored a touchdown. But honestly, I mean, I'm not too upset about that. Kerryon Drake is a good football player. I remember watching him in Alabama. He was like the 3rd string running back, and he had a very good high school career. So, I mean, he's a very talented player, and a lot of Dolphins fans know that. Maybe not a lot of Lions fans do, but he's very fast. That's why when he went down that left sideline, I was like, okay, he's gone. He's probably going to score. He's very fast. But outside of that really big play, the Dolphins really didn't do anything running the ball. And that's good, because going into this game, I was kind of worried about Frank Gore, kind of worried about Kerryon Drake running the ball. you know, a lot and having success doing it didn't really happen for them. Our linebackers were doing a really good job, you know, just making the plays in the hole, the right hole, hitting the right hole, and that's something that we really struggled with the first few weeks of this season. But I think since the first few weeks of this season, this team has been a lot different. We're definitely not seeing the same football team out there. You know, if you want to talk about defense, you know, it's definitely way different. You know, we're doing a lot better job stopping the run, forcing them to pass, and then contesting the pass. You know, a lot of their big plays this game actually came off penalties. You know, maybe it's not necessarily fixed, but they're working on it, and I think it's getting better. That's a big thing. I think is just working on that pass defense, working on the run defense, and you know, improving from week to week. That's something that I really wanted to see, because that's something we did not see with Caldwell. We never really seen a different team from week 1 to week 5. You know, it would pretty much be the same game plan, the same defense. It would be the same, you know, it'd be the same coaching situations. He would make the same decision every time we were in a 4th and 1. Every time we were on the goal line with a chance to get a 2-possession lead, he would always make the same decision, you know, go for the safe decision, you know. But here, it looks like Matt Patricia's learning how to be a good head coach. Now, for offense, I would say this is probably one of the best games I've seen in terms of balance, and I know that's pretty obvious. I mean, you look at the running backs. You know, we ran for 248 yards this game. That's crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen that. You know, but this is what a lot of people have been saying about Matthew Stafford for a long time, is that they rely too much on him. And if they could just, you know, run the ball a little bit, he would be a lot better, you know, and a lot more consistent. And I've always been one person that has said, you know, I don't know how much I believe in that. I would always say that Stafford pretty much has to throw the ball 50 times to win a game versus a good team. And that wasn't the case here. Stafford only threw the ball 22 times, and you know, we ran the ball 35 times. That's a really good balance. You know, and a lot of that had to do with Kerryon Johnson doing very well. But, you know, that's something the Lions fans have been wanting for a very long time, is just to commit to the running game until it works and then keep doing it. And, you know, this game we kept doing it after it worked. And last game we had versus the Cowboys, you know, Kerryon Johnson ripped off that big run, and then he really didn't see a whole lot of touches the rest of the game. And I know he was injured, but a lot of fans are pretty upset because it didn't look like a serious injury. In this game, they definitely were not avoiding running the ball. They definitely committed to running the ball, and it was really good. And a lot of that had to do with the offensive line, and a lot of that had to do with Kerryon Johnson just seeing the holes and hitting the holes when they're there, especially on that big run to the right sideline. Kerryon Johnson pretty much hit the hole at 100% and kept going, and, you know, a really fast running back would have scored there, but Kerryon Johnson's still pretty quick. You know, he might not be the fastest guy, but, you know, he's definitely fast enough to get some of those really big plays, and he's also hard to take down in the open field. And also, I mean, the Miami defense in the second half versus the Bears, they actually did a very good job last week stopping the Bears in the second half. So, you know, for the Lions to go out there and, you know, basically make the play when they need to and run the ball when they need to, that's huge. Having the ability to run the ball on first down and get 4 or 5 yards is really big, because that puts you in a situation where second down, you can take a deep shot if you want, or you can run the ball again. You know, that's something that's really exciting, because, you know, that gives us the ability to be in a position where we've never been. I've never watched a Lions game where we could take that shot on second down, you know, and not be stuck in a 3rd and 14, because we have a running game. And teams have to respect the running game. So when we actually run a play-action pass, that does hold the linebackers a little bit. Even on that sweep, that jet sweep that we ran, there was a little bit of a fake to Kerryon Johnson. And, you know, that held all of those inside linebackers and basically made Golden Tate have a one-on-one with this, I think it was the safety on the outside, and, you know, he pretty much made him miss and got a nice play on the right sideline for that jet sweep. And that's because we were able to run the ball effectively on first down. And another thing that's very, very good is how the Lions used Kerryon Johnson on first down, because I do think Kerryon Johnson is an every down back in this league, and I think eventually he will get there. But while we have LeGarrette Blount, we definitely want to use him. He did his job, you know. I mean, he was falling forward on every play. Pretty much, I think there was only one time where we were going for it on a 3rd and short on the goal line where he actually got stopped in the backfield. I think that was the only time he got stopped in the backfield, though. So that's, you know, that's pretty much what you want out of, you know, a LeGarrette Blount, is you want a guy who can get the tough yard, get the tough 3 yards, 4 yards sometimes. And you saw there on the goal line right before halftime, they knew we were going to run the ball with LeGarrette Blount. They didn't even want to hit him. They just let him go. So that's what the announcers mean when they say that running the ball consistently has an effect on the defense. They gave up on that play. They let us score a touchdown. That's huge. If we didn't score a touchdown there, that might be a different story for this game. And also on that 4th and 1 where we did the quarterback sneak, that's pretty huge too. If we don't convert there, or if we kick a field goal, this is a 1-possession game still, you know, in the 4th quarter. I mean, that's really big to have a team that's, you know, able to do those things. Because in the past, we would never go for it on a 4th and 1 on our own 30-yard line, you know. And we definitely wouldn't get it if we did go for it. So that was really fun to watch, honestly. That's probably one of the most entertaining games I've seen in a long time. Just, you know, running the ball like that. That's really fun to watch. As a football fan, I think I definitely enjoy watching a team that's able to run the ball consistently versus a team passing the ball, just because the way the NFL has evolved with all of these dumb penalties and stuff. And, you know, I like to see a team just run the ball. You know, it's great. And also looking at passing, you know, Stafford only had 4 incompletions this game. And I also have to say, I don't think that's a very flawed stat line. I think that's a pretty accurate stat line. If you watch this game, it looked like to me that Stafford made just about every throw he could have. I think there was really only maybe 1 or 2 throws that he was just a little bit off. And the rest of the throws were pretty much on point 100%. And that's something that I was not expecting, you know, especially because I always thought Stafford was kind of a rhythm passer who has to throw a lot, you know, to get into a rhythm, to be able to be that accurate. And that wasn't the case here, you know. There were a lot of times when they only threw the ball 2-3 times a drive, and he was still very accurate on that drive. So that's very good to have a quarterback that's able to do that. And able to, you know, give a little bit of the load to the running back, and then when it's his turn to make the play, he makes the play. That's awesome. That's what you want as a team. And it also looked like during this game, Stafford was making a lot of adjustments at the line, and this is something I talked about a lot last year on my YouTube channel, but I really want Stafford to do a lot more in terms of making calls at the line and changing the play, changing the formation, because of what he sees in the defense. Because I actually think Stafford's a pretty smart quarterback when it comes to, you know, what he sees. I do think he does a very good job of reading defenses and putting the team in a better situation to make that play. And that's something that I've definitely wanted them to start doing more, is sort of that no-huddle offense. I don't necessarily want to call it no-huddle because they were huddling most of the game this game, but they also allowed Stafford to change the play whenever he wanted, it looks like. And that's really good. That's what we need to do to win, because Stafford is that smart. I don't know if he's quite like Peyton Manning, but, you know, he definitely is a lot better than most of those quarterbacks out there in terms of changing the play at the line. And I think that's something that this team should really try to take advantage of, is how smart he is as a football player in general. You know, he made a lot of plays this game, and he also made a lot of plays with his brain, you know, just switching the play to a better play. That definitely helps out the team and puts us in better situations. And also, you know, no turnovers this game. That's really good. There was a little bit of a scare there with Golden Tate fumbling the ball, but luckily he jumped right back on it. That's pretty cool to see. There's not a lot of Lions games that don't have turnovers. So, you know, maybe that's an effective coaching. Maybe that's effective, a new coach coming in here and trying to change things, you know, trying to make this team, you know, act more cohesive, you know, trying to make this team be more attentive to some of those intricacies when it comes to football, you know, try to really work hard at ball security and stuff like that. You know, that's kind of what you want in a head coach. So I think for me, it's kind of rubbing off on the team. Maybe they're starting to buy in. It looks like it. I guess it was a really, really good game for me. I think in terms of there's a lot of good things going forward. And really, the only thing that was bad was something that we already knew about. Our cornerback depth out of Darius Slay is not great, and we kind of known about that for the whole season. If that's going to be our one glaring weakness, I'm okay with that, honestly. Because as a defense, when you only have, one good corner, there's things you can do to try and window dress, was what they call it. But like you pretty much put your players in better position. You're not going to put, hopefully, Nevin Lawson one-on-one with the other team's best receivers. When you play against the Vikings, Nevin Lawson's probably never going to be in man coverage because you don't want him on Adam Thielen or Stephon Diggs. So I would assume when we play against the Vikings that we're pretty much going to play zone coverage almost the entire game, because if you put Nevin Lawson one-on-one with one of those two guys, there's a very good chance of a big play. I really do hope it keeps improving because, I think the NFC is very competitive right now. Lions winning this game is huge. It looks like the Bears might actually, the Bears just lost. All right, so the Packers actually have a bye week, but the Bears lost, and we won this week. So that's huge because I think the Bears only had a 1-game lead on us. And we haven't even played the Bears yet. So that's huge, man. Especially when this team is starting to pick up on a lot of those things that we were worried about to start the season. Running the ball consistently, making those passes when they're there. When we play against the 49ers, Stafford definitely struggled with those deep passes, And, this game, that just was not the case. He pretty much hit the pass every time. Yeah, I guess to wrap up here, I do think the offense did an outstanding job. It was very good play calling. The play calling was outstanding. Stafford did a really good job changing the play at the line. And the run game was great. The offensive line did a really good job opening up holes, especially on those long runs by Kerryon Johnson. Those were some big holes. And he hit them at the right time, made the right cut, and made the right play. That's something we wanted to see, and it happened this game. And there in the fourth quarter, our offense was able to convert some third downs and get some extra time off the clock, and our defense did a good job. And also here, looking forward, I think when we finally do play the Vikings, I think that will be the first time when I can say I know we're playing a really good team. The Cowboys, they might be good. I'm not sure. The Patriots, weren't very good the first couple weeks. The 49ers, with Jimmy Garoppolo, you never really know what was going to happen this season. And the Jets, that almost looked like a fluke game for them, But overall, looking forward, I think it's good. It's definitely positive. Is it enough to get into the playoffs? I have no idea. The NFC, like I said, is extremely competitive this year, and we all knew that was going to happen. Last year, the Lions pretty much would have had to get 11 wins to make the playoffs. This year, I would be surprised if it isn't the same case. And sitting there at, I think at 3-3 right now, pretty sure. Yeah, we're 3-3. So yeah, so to get to 11-5, we would only be able to lose 2 more games on the rest of the season. I think that would be crazy, but I don't really think that's going to happen. I don't really want to make a great prediction here. I thought before this season, this team would probably be something like 7-9, and that's basically because our schedule is incredibly difficult this year. The Lions have probably one of the toughest schedules I think I've ever seen. Going to have to play the Rams. I don't know how the Lions are going to beat the Rams. I really don't think they will. But we also have to play teams like Seattle. The Cardinals. The Lions have not played good versus the Cardinals. Outside of last year, the Lions have not really beat the Cardinals, I think, in the last 5 meetings. I do hope going forward that this all will kind of carry over, having the ability to run the ball. Hopefully we can keep doing that in these road games. But we'll see, next week versus Seattle. There's a good chance that we won't be able to run the ball. And we'll see what this team's really made of. Are they going to be able to stop Russell Wilson? Are they going to be able to throw the ball when there's a lot of pass rush, when there's, a lot better linebackers that are able to stop the run? I guess we'll see. But yeah, guys, that is going to wrap up this episode of Detroit Lions Podcast. You can go ahead and follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna try to do this every time after the Lions games. Going forward, I probably should have started doing this a long time ago, but we're gonna start doing it now. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.